Good morning, everybody. Almost afternoon, almost noon. I get to say good morning for another minute. Welcome. We'll give it just a minute for people to go ahead and file in and settle in for our lunchtime webinar. If you want to go ahead and put into the chat where you're joining us from today, we always love to see where people are located in beautiful Monterey County. So jealous up here in hot Sacramento right now. Jerry was telling us it's in the low 70s and we're very jealous. Okay, noon straight up. So again, hello everybody and welcome to the Customer Service Exceeding Expectations webinar sponsored by the Monterey County Workforce Development Board. My name is Tara Brennan and I am the events manager here at CEA and we're thrilled to have you today. Before we start, I'm just going to go over a couple of housekeeping details with you. Your audio is muted, but we love to have your input. So please go ahead and any questions that you have or comments that you have, go ahead and put those into the chat box. Keisha will be able to monitor those while she's going along. And again, we love participation. If you did not receive the handouts for whatever reason, they were attached to the email that went out with the link. But if for whatever reason you didn't get them, go ahead and put your email into the chat box and I'll email those back out to you as well. There is going to be a very quick 6-question survey. So if you would take the time to do those 6 questions, that would be fabulous. We really do appreciate your input. It means a lot to us. We're here to provide you with the best webinar experience that we possibly can, so it is helpful. And just on another note, this webinar is being recorded and will be available on the Monterey Workforce Development Board's website, and I'll put that into the chat box later when we get closer to the end. So without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Jerry Hernandez. He's the Management Analyst and Business Services with Monterey County Workforce Development Board. So Jerry, welcome.
Thank you, Tara. First of all, I want to thank all of you for joining us today. I'm the Business Service Manager for the Monterey County Workforce Development Board. We're located in Salinas. I do see some of our visitors as well. What I wanted to begin with is go over briefly some of the services that we offer with business services. Essentially, what we're trying to do is work with business community to help stabilize things. We're still, although some projections are saying that we're getting better, we still see variants of the pandemic kind of rearing up here and there, but things are going. So businesses are wanting to stabilize, and we're working with business to retain them, to help them grow. So you can look at what we're trying to do is helping stabilize, strengthen, and grow. We can do that by a number of the offerings or services that we offer under recruitment. For example, we can help you to find employees. We have job and career fairs. We have both virtual job fairs as well as in-person job fairs. We also have customized recruitments, which means that for large employers, for example, if they want to have a specialized recruitment, which means that it's only you as the larger business, and then we can work with you. Again, all our services, by the way, are at no charge. We have a job board, which if you're looking at posting your job information, we can help you there, free of charge again. We also have other promotional activities. We also then recognize that to help you grow your business, oftentimes you want to have employees, whether they are entry level, or if you have existing employees, we can help you there as well. So if you have an existing employee who's been with you 6 months or more, we have grant funds available under the Incumbent Worker Training Program. On the job training for individuals who are new to the business. And then if you are looking at laying off, please contact us. We work with EDD and we can help you through that transition period. We have other resources, one of which I wanted to mention. We have the micro business grant program. We have about $330,000 that we need to disperse over the next 3 months. We've had this now. We've had over 150 applicants. and we've let out about 50 some odd grants. So if you are a small business, a micro business, which is defined as a business of 5 or less employees, please contact us. I'll have the contact information. You'll get that as a slide. We also have a human resource hotline, which will be spoken about following this slides as well. And then we have some other resource referrals and other information. So we're going to go next to our contact information. If you want to take a screenshot of this, you're welcome to do so. Again, I guess this is part of also the handouts that you'll be receiving. But my contact information here, if you want to call me, I'm at 831-755-5393. You'll see my email below, hernandezj1@co.monterey.ca.us, as well as in our website address. And it's Monterey County WDB.org. So again, we look forward for not only having you join us today, but we're here to help you as well. So thank you, Tara, and back to you.
Excellent. Thank you, Jerry. Yeah, I will also put that information into the chat box at the end as well, just so you've got everything there, so you can grab that. And so now I'd like to go ahead and introduce our presenter and a special guest today. We have Natalie Jimenez. She is our Director of Member Services. She's going to be here lurking about with me in the background a little bit. And our presenter today is Keisha Hansen. She is one of our recruiters and trainers. So Keisha, it is all yours.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully you have something to drink and eat during this lunch and learn session on customer service. And boy, I could go on all day about customer service. But I want to highlight just very briefly the hotline that Jerry referred to that we partner with Monterey Workforce Development Board on. So you have access. This is a free number to access our human resources at CEA, California Employers Association. So you can call this Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. If you have any questions regarding recruiting, retaining, paid sick leave, lots of that is changing as we continue through the pandemic. So you have access to a live person Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So take advantage. Also, as Tara said, I'm a recruiter. So take advantage of all of those job services. If you are trying to hire people, I am using one of the workforce development boards because it's in another county. And I got about 3 really great candidates right away when they posted that to the job board. So it can be we need to do everything and anything right now to get those qualified candidates. Again, if you're joining us for the first time, CEA is a human resource association. We're based in Sacramento, California, but I am joining you from down south in Orange County today. And if we're talking weather, it's in the 80s here. So I'm not going to complain because Tara will Tara will ruffle my feathers afterwards. And this isn't really a compliance-based session today, but I do want to remind you that I'm not a lawyer. So if you did have any questions, legal questions, we would recommend that you consult an attorney. So we just provided peace of mind to our lawyers by telling you that. So today we're talking about customer service, and again, boy, this is a favorite subject of mine. In previous life, before I joined CEA, I actually started my career working for Hyatt Hotels in their human resources department. I have also worked for shopping centers, primarily in charge of their customer service booths. So I could tell a lot of stories, and I'm sure all of you could share some stories. And that's what we're kind of looking at today. We really want to focus in on customer service and how it's changed, really identifying who are our customers. And that has kind of shifted over the last few years. And then honing in again on exceptional customer service, because there is so much competition with people and options for customers. We're smarter, we're more savvy in terms of customer service. So we want to be able to upgrade our practices. And then also touching in on resolving conflicts. That is always an opportunity in customer service to be able to resolve and find the solutions for our customers. So that's what we're getting into, but I know you probably came here for a reason. So I'm going to give you a quick poll. And just want to see what are kind of your challenges right now with customer service. So you should be seeing it on your screen, and I'll give you a minute to look through the answers. So what is your biggest challenge with customer service currently? Is it finding those qualified employees? Because I know that's continuing to be a challenge as people have evaluated their employers in the last couple of years during the pandemic. And so hospitality, retail, food and beverage, still really having a challenging time. So again, utilize all the resources you can with your workforce development boards, because it's looking like some of you are relating to that challenge. Be responding in a timely manner to customer complaints. Amazon really made it very competitive to be able to respond immediately to customer complaints. So a lot of employers these days are utilizing, social media and other tools in order to be able to respond immediately to customers. Okay, so looks like we're all shared. So yeah, this isn't probably a surprise to anybody, but recruiting and retaining employees in customer service. I read one statistic that said employees in the hospitality industry are leaving at a rate of about 150%. So people are really challenged to find employees, and employees, want more services when they are looking for jobs. And then be responding in a timely manner to customer complaints. We're just all so busy doing everything we can. Sometimes we're just putting out fires and we don't have the system in place, or sorry about that, systems in place that we need to be able to respond to customers. And again, the expectations have increased so exponentially that sometimes it's just not feasible for us. So the thing when we're talking about customer service is that we're all experts on customer service, because we've been consumers from the time we were little to now as adults. So we experience customer service every day when we're going to the grocery store, when we're getting gas, when we're going to a department store. So, and we become loyal to certain businesses over time. So I just want a little fun chat to ask you, what local businesses do you return to time and time again? I may not be familiar with them being down in Southern California, but your colleagues on the line might be familiar with them. And just enter in the chat which ones they are and why are you loyal to them? And it can be a brand name business too. So there's a Starbucks that I go to, and it's actually not that near to my house, but I go there because number one, they know my name and they know what I like to drink. Their customer service is exceptional, and I'm sure we all Starbucks, good Carmelo. All Starbucks aren't created the same, aren't created equally. So there's one closer to my house where they don't know my name. They've never learned my name and they don't know what I drink. So it's just that connection that I have with that specific Starbucks that I go to. Anybody else? Okay. Well, yeah, they are all Starbucks. They're nice. That's good. So as I said, use your experience when you're thinking about providing customer service in your businesses. Use your own experience as a customer. What do you expect? What has changed for you over time? I think one of the things that I relate to is we tend to have less patience than we had before, and it's been increasing for quite a few years. So time is of the essence for the customer. They want things efficiently. They want to get their product or their service as quickly as possible. And so how do we fine tune that so that we're providing the exceptional customer service that we want to? And here's a few statistics. 90% of Americans use customer service as a factor in deciding whether or not to do business with a company. You have social media like you have Facebook, you have Instagram, where people are looking at reviews on Yelp, on Glassdoor when they're looking for jobs to see reviews. So actually employers now actually have people who are in charge of just responding to those customer comments that they see on social media, so that they get ahead of the game and that they're showing that they do respond to customer issues. Another statistic, 53% of shoppers believe their feedback doesn't go to anyone who can actually act on it. So even if you do provide surveys to customers, are you following up on what they're requesting or what their issues are? And this used to happen to me at the shopping center that I worked at, and it was actually in Denver, Colorado. And we would actually, this is about probably 8 years ago, but we would actually hand out physical comment cards for people to fill out. And so many of the shoppers would say, I'm not filling out your comment card because nothing's ever going to happen, right? They had that experience of not having follow through or follow up. And so they thought it was going to, actually one customer actually told me, you're just going to put this in the trash right when I leave, which was not the case. Actually, our general manager of that shopping center read every single comment card, and of course followed up on all of those customers. So they did have exceptional customer service response to those issues. And then 36% of consumers overall will share their customer service experience, whether good and bad. So again, we have different ways of sharing our experiences. But one thing to really keep in mind is that 70% of that customer's journey is based on how the customer feels, right? How are we making them feel? But if we're on the phone, whether it's, how is our tone? How are we greeting people? To if it's in person, are we making eye contact right as they come through the door? And what's the environment like that we're providing to those customers? So it used to be back in the day that when customers had a bad experience, they would tell their friends, right? They would share it maybe with their coworkers or share it with family and friends about their bad experience. But now it has grown to, I can just go on social media and tell everybody about my bad experience, right? And people are becoming more savvy about that. Some of it is in an attempt to get a response from the employer and consumer. And that's why I mentioned some employers actually have people who do that as part of their job to make sure that they are above and beyond and presenting to people that they are making an effort to resolve that issue. So it's a lot, right? And then who are our customers these days? So a customer is defined as anyone you serve. And of course, we can think of in food and beverage and retail, that individual who is buying our product or service, right? And our guests who stay in our facilities, but it also includes our coworkers, people who we work with in other departments, independent contractors, vendors, all of those, if we treat those people well, right? Because we talked about in the previous slide, people come back because how you made them feel. Well, if we're struggling right now with retaining and recruiting new employees, we want to make that experience exceptional. We want them to feel good, to feel that we value them, that we recognize them from the initial contact. So if our customer is that future employee of ours, we're going to make that interviewing process exceptional. We are going to value them. We are going to contact them in a timely manner, which has been on both sides of the coin, right? Sometimes job seekers were like, the company didn't call me back in a timely manner, or companies are like, the job seeker didn't call me back. So we're going to provide that exceptional experience from the initiation stages. So one thing you might want to do is when you're recruiting and trying to get qualified employees is really give them that experience and evaluate, are you providing that experience from initial contact? Because there is so much competition right now with hiring. You want to provide that exceptional service to the job seekers as well. So when we think of hiring specifically for customer service, whether we have a position where it's face-to-face or it's using a call center, what skills do you think are needed to facilitate that exceptional customer service? Because we really are experts as consumers, but I would gather that we've all interfaced by providing customer service at one point in our careers. So what are some of the skills, and put them in the chat? What are some of the skills people need? Yes, absolutely. Problem solving. This is one of the number one. And again, I said I was a recruiter. So one of the number one skills that employers always want to put on a job posting is problem solving, right? The ability to solve problems and being empowered to handle a situation that comes up. Because gone are kind of the days of saying, gosh, my manager's not here. I don't know what to do. The customer wants an answer and they want it right now, right? They don't want to wait for a manager or somebody in a different department. These are great. See, I told you guys are experts. Problem solving, professionalism, positive attitude, being responsible, thinking outside the box, right? Every challenge in customer service is an opportunity to think creatively and to think innovatively, and you're always going to get something different. No day is ever the same when you're providing customer service. Patience, absolutely. All of these great answers. So that's kind of hard to find, right? You really want people that really have strong communication skills, decision-making skills, again, being able to solve the problem, having that patience, which you all acknowledged already, having knowledge about the products and services that you're offering. So all of these and adaptability when things shift. I mean, think of all of the customer service employees in retail, in food and beverage, in grocery stores during the pandemic. Boy, did they have to pivot, as did many of us. All of us had to pivot in many ways, but they were the front line. They were holding down the fort so that we could get our products and services. So that adaptability and being analytical to try and figure things out. Is there a better way we can do things? And above all, I would say empathy. And I would say having empathy as consumers too, because I think customer service is one of the hardest jobs you'll ever have. If you are interacting face to face with people every day, you never know what to expect. You never know what that person's day was like before they got to you. So you have to have that patience and provide empathy when they are having an issue or a challenge. So yeah, these are the things to look for with customer service. And one example of doing that is Trader Joe's. So either say yes or no if you're a Trader Joe's fan, but I am definitely a Trader Joe's fan. I go there because they provide a fun experience. People are asking you, they're trained to ask you how your day is going, what do you have in store for you. They will provide samples, maybe not as much as they used to in terms of food with the pandemic, but they'll listen to you, right? And they'll make that experience not just a chore that I have to go to Trader Joe's. Everybody in my family, sometimes it's a competition as to who gets to go to Trader Joe's to get the food that week because they provide such an exceptional experience. And it goes back to what kind of environment are we presenting to our customers as they walk in? And you can think about when I asked you about the businesses that you become loyal to, the businesses that you aren't loyal to that you said, forget it. It usually has to do with that customer service, of course, and the experience that you felt when you went in there. What was the environment like? What were the employees like? Did they seem happy and content, or did they seem like, oh, I have to be here today? Because that makes such a huge difference. And your customers will notice that. As I said, our customers are smarter, they're knowledgeable, they have a lot of competition and a lot of options. So they're noticing everything from the first moment. So if it is an actual brick and mortar establishment that they're going into, the first thing that they're going to see or feel is the energy in that environment, right? Do I feel welcome? Did someone greet me? How do employees treat each other? Are they having an argument in front of me, which tends to always happen to me at Target, the employees seem to be having a personal conversation when I'm going down the aisle, and then it makes me kind of want to get out of that aisle. But that is like presenting to the customer, and it can impact the customer's experience. Are the employees overall happy to be there? I mean, at my particular Trader Joe's, they all seem pretty happy to be there because I can see them, hear them laughing, see them talking, smiling with the customers. So that's all indicating that they're happy to be there and they're happy to help me as well. So we're going to just get into a little bit of 5 points of customer service today. And I think someone talked about it in the chat, mentioned it, but feeling positively about the customers, right? This is an opportunity. Without those customers, we really don't have jobs. So we really want to be able to feel positively about our customers. So we treat customers as guests, and really Disney coined that term of guests because they wanted the customers to feel like they were in someone's home, and we were giving them an opportunity to be with us and connect with us. And so treating customers as guests as if they were in your own home is the concept that Disney started when they started Disney World. And who doesn't want to go to Disney? Everything communicates your style to your customers, your appearance, how you greet them, your facial features, right? If you're smiling, if you're sad, if you're down, all of that. The environment, is it clean in the establishment? And then online, it would be how quickly, right? Because you don't see each other. I would give Amazon as a big example of that. The experience is so easy, right? It's so easy to go on to Amazon, find a product that we need, order it, and then have it delivered to us, right? So that's a positive view in terms of the virtual customer service, is that it's seamless. It's so easy to do, and you want to provide that. But you also want to feel positively about your customers. You want to provide that great experience. So spend time talking about the customers and who the customers are with your employees so that they can feel that positivity about them. 2, encouraging customer feedback. Like I said, it's always an opportunity when customers have feedback, whether it's negative, whether it's positive. What can we do better? We can't move forward if we don't know what we're not doing well. So some ways people do that is they talk to the people after they've been served. Actually, a server or a cashier will say, how was your experience today? Obviously, a ton of online surveys. Almost every establishment offers online surveys these days, and some of them even ask you to give them a good rating. I think that happened to me at a rental car the other day, and I want to make my own decision whether I want to give that person 5 stars or not. You can interact over social media, as we talked about. Some larger companies might do focus groups, but responding to the feedback is crucial, right? You can't just do these surveys and then not take any action on improvement. So just a quick poll again, just to see where you're at. How do you currently collect feedback from your customers? So it's launching now. I'll give you just a couple more seconds there. So it looks like 40% do the digital surveys, which is great. Comment forms, we do still provide those to people. Maybe it's an email that you send out, and then all of the above. So maybe not quite there yet with interacting on social media, but you want to utilize different ways because we have different generations, so they want to respond in different ways. Older generations, more mature generations might actually want to be in person and talk to that person, right? Or they want to be on the phone and actually speak with someone by phone. Other of us are very used to just giving our input via a digital survey.
Keisha, can I dive in here really quickly? As
Sure.
a person who does create surveys, I'm curious, just briefly, how many responses are people getting from their surveys? And are they finding online surveys to be more completed than just asking people when if they're actually in the room, or even if they're virtual before they close out? I'm just really curious. So if people wouldn't mind putting that into the chat box, again, coming from a person who does surveys, I'd be very curious. So thank you.
That's a great question.
Thanks.
And Tara, they might ask you back. What is your experience?
Right. Well, that's why I was asking, because our experience is that I think people are getting fatigued on all the surveys that we do. We do a survey after every webinar. There will be one after this. And so I'm curious because we are seeing those numbers go down. So anyway, thanks everybody.
So this is an example of following up on those surveys. So I was recently on a work trip in Wisconsin, and I ended up at 2 different hotels. That's a long story. But one of the hotels was really struggling, and they had a huge insurance conference that weekend. And again, the shortage of qualified employees and the continued, people calling out because of getting COVID. So I was really patient, and as a previous customer service employee who worked at hotels and worked at shopping centers, I feel like I'm pretty gracious with people and pretty generous. But this hotel let me down in terms of just giving me the minimum cleanup in my room. So I won't go into detail with that, but I did take the time when they emailed me a survey. I took the time to actually be thoughtful with my comments. I had gotten back already from the trip, and so I wasn't being emotional. I was just saying, gosh, I realized that there was a huge conference in town that weekend, and I did speak with the front desk manager, who said that you were understaffed because employees had COVID, but I just wanted to provide this feedback. So this is 3 weeks later. 3 weeks later, I got this email today from the hotel saying that they did share my feedback with their team so that they can continue to improve upon our standards and offerings. And actually, I was pretty pleased with that, because you never know, as these people that we saw in the statistics, people don't have faith that there is going to be follow-up or follow-through. I wouldn't have minded if he comped me something or gave me a complimentary room, which some, hotel chains do, but I did understand that they were, stressed that weekend, and they were understaffed. But it did leave me feeling, gosh, at least they listened, and that's what I wanted them to do. And hopefully they did give the feedback to their team so that they can continue to improve on their standards and offerings. Now, I was at another hotel that week, and similar negative experience, something specific happened, and I did get a survey from them and no follow-up. So that makes a difference for me. That makes an impact. So it's one thing, as Tara is asking, it's one thing to send out the survey and get the feedback from our customers, but are we taking action on that? And are we letting our customers know that we're taking action? And we see that every day as customers that maybe, our problems aren't being resolved, or people say they're going to call us and give us an update, but they don't give us an update, right? So that timeliness that some people are challenged with is a real challenge, because again, that's going to make the difference between if someone stays with you as a customer or not, is having that problem truly resolved. And one time, talking about customers who don't feel like they're going to be listened to, or nothing's going to be taken action. When I was at the shopping center, when I worked in customer service, we used to do gift cards. So if you purchased a certain amount in the shopping center, you could come to guest services and get maybe a $15 gift card. And we had one of these promotions that was going to start the following day, and a customer came up to us and she said, it's a Jewish holiday tomorrow. I can't come for the promotion. I want to be able to redeem, I spend a lot of money in the shopping center. I want to be able to redeem my gift card. And, a little pat on the back for me, but I wasn't even there. And my employee who was there took the initiative. We already had the gift cards already preloaded. She provided the person with their gift card. She didn't want that person thinking that we didn't take her seriously, that we didn't take her issue seriously. And that customer became so loyal. She was always talking about our shopping center. She was always complimenting us. She became one of our best customers, right? As a starting, she wasn't happy about when the gift card promotion started. We turned it around for her, and she was one of our most loyal customers throughout the time that I worked at that shopping center. So it is so important to follow up and have that initiative to make the decision and resolve the issue. And I wasn't around. I was the manager, and the employee just, asked for forgiveness, not permission, as they say, right? She just knew that it was going to make the customer happy. And in terms of the shopping center, one $15 gift card a day early wasn't going to impact them at all. So other causes of customer complaints that we've seen, again, is that excessive waiting time. I mean, the DMV alone is known for that, having that lack of knowledge. And sometimes that is a lack of, really investing in the training. So again, when you think of those businesses and places that you frequent that are really high on the knowledge level, high on the customer service level, they've probably invested the time in training. And then those places that you go where people don't seem to know the answers, it was probably a rush, right? It was probably, I need a body, I'm just going to hire this person. And then you throw them out to the wolves, so to speak. And then you get your first question and you're not able to answer it because you weren't prepared, right? You didn't have the knowledge or the resources, the problem solving skills to find out the information. So I can think of a couple of establishments that I've been to that are well known, that I won't mention their names, but that the employee, the staff just didn't have the knowledge and weren't able to help me with what I needed to, which was the reason I was there, right? Again, time is money. It is of the essence. So people want to get their products, services, and their issues solved as soon as possible. Finding it hard to access. Where is customer service? Is it online? Is it an 800 number? Is there someone here in this brick and mortar establishment that can help me? Those can all be impacting negatively to customers' experience. Poor follow-up. Again, I'll call you, I'll give you an update in a couple days, and then never hearing back. Having customer service really not expressing that empathy or concern with your issue, becoming kind of indifferent. And, everybody gets customer service fatigue. And I think that's something to acknowledge, because when I worked at the shopping center, and if one of my employees had a really disgruntled or frustrated customer, and it can impact you emotionally, I would immediately send them on a break so that they weren't inundated with another negative experience, that they could recoup, so they could retain that positive attitude, because we're all human and we can only take so much. So just giving people that time, if they have a difficult call or if they have a difficult client, giving them some time to breathe and kind of pitching in and helping with that when you can. And then another one, obviously, poor quality of products and services, and then pricing. Which of these have you received in terms of feedback? What do you think is your biggest one? And you don't have to put it in the chat. Maybe just take a look at it and say, maybe we need to take another look at our wait time, or how knowledgeable is the staff on these things? So that can be an independent exercise. Number 3, responding to customer problems. Of course, it's an opportunity to restore that confidence quickly, as I gave with the example at the shopping center. Never argue with customers. You know, if you're starting to notice that your tone is rising and meeting the level of the customers, you might want to take a breath. You might want to ask someone else to step in, because you're never going to resolve anything if you're at the same level as a customer who's getting heated or who's getting frustrated or who's very disgruntled. So you want to take a step. You want to not take things personally, which can be hard to do these days, right? We all have our opinions, and emotions can take over, but just really empowering your employees to take ownership of problems and finding a solution. And whether it's creating a specific protocol of how they can deal with customers, or how you can empower them. Some hotels provide employees with budgets so that they can comp the hotel stay, or they can give something from food and beverage. So they have like a monthly budget that they can use, so that they don't have to go to another source to ask for permission to resolve the situation. Because by the time you do that, again, you're losing time on that customer in finding them that solution. So empowering employees is a very important part of responding to customer problems. So when you're resolving customer conflicts, and I think that's another area where employers tend to not really invest in the training, because if you've worked customer service, you always know there's always going to be a customer who isn't happy, right? There's always going to be some issue to resolve. It's just human nature. Things happen, right? So you want to be able to acknowledge that at the highest level possible, apologizing. I understand, asking those questions that you need, allowing that customer time to calm down and really vent and get it off their chest, and communicate to you what they really need. Shifting the discussion, if it is continuing to repeat, you want to shift the discussion to what type of solution we can come up with, take the action, and then follow up, right? Again, that one person that doesn't follow up with a customer can lead to that spiral of many customers being impacted and being and losing that customer loyalty. And then we all need to display empathy with customers, with our coworkers, with our departments, with our internal departments, with our external departments when things are going wrong. And we need people to be able to listen, right? We're in such a fast-paced environment and time that we're losing the ability and the skill to listen carefully to people and really come up with a solution, and knowing what it is that their issue is, acknowledging people's feelings, right? Again, knowing that that customer that came to us, we don't know what happened, you know, that day. Maybe they were stuck in traffic, or maybe they heard some bad news from a friend or family member. So really trying to acknowledge those feelings when they come up for a customer, and then refocus on that solution. Absolutely. You got it, Mark. Shift to the solution. What can we do to help you? How can we address this? So here's just a very simple scenario, but the customer comes up and they say, I tried to get a refund on this and your clerk was so rude to me. I am really upset right now. So how would you respond as an exceptional customer service rep? What is the first thing you would do? Put it in the chat, because remember, you're experts. Yes, apologize for how they were treated and try to find a solution that works. Apologize for the bad experience to work towards a resolution. Absolutely. Absolutely. Number one would be the inappropriate way to respond. Well, we do have a no refund policy. And I think all of us have experienced that employee who was given the rules and they're going to abide by those rules regardless of whether it impacts the customer in a positive or negative, right? They're going to hold on to those rules and regulations. Going back to the example of the gift card, if my employee had absolutely said, well, the promotion doesn't start until tomorrow, we would have lost that customer, right? And she probably would have contacted our general manager, who would have been contacting the corporate office, et cetera, et cetera. So you don't want to be defensive. You can explain policies and rules, but again, as you've so eloquently mentioned in the chat, you really want to get to the solution. So that's not really a solution. That's kind of stopping people where they are. Paraphrasing is a next step. So you weren't happy about the way you were treated. Not so sure about that, the way that's written. So observing, this obviously bothered you. Again, both 2 and 3, depending on your tone, that could instigate the customer to be even more upset. So we really want to identify the problem and then validate for the customer, right? Gosh, no one wants to feel disrespected. I'm really glad you're letting me know. Please tell me more about what happened so then you can ultimately get to the solution, right? So avoidance and deflective language is what we want to avoid in customer service. How many times have you heard that's not my job or that's not my department? I'm just leaving. I'm just getting off my shift. I can't really help you. I don't know. That's not our policy. Again, calm down. Have you ever told anybody to calm down who actually listened to you and calm down? Whether it's a customer or whether it's a family member, usually doesn't work. You're right, this is horrible. I have experienced most recently employees who are too sympathetic with me. They're like, yeah, I'm about ready to leave this place. They give horrible customer service. So not really representing the business very well when you're agreeing too much with the customer. So you want to be more proactive and use proactive language. So, I'm not sure about this situation, but I'm going to find out who can help you with this situation, right? Not that's not my job. Again, you're putting up that barrier again. Let me find out. I don't have the information, but let me find out, because it's demonstrating to the customer that you're taking action, that you're doing something about it. I understand you're frustrated. I'm sorry. And again, you have to really emphasize that with an empathetic tone. So when in doubt, ask your coworkers and friends, how did that sound? Did I sound empathetic? Did I sound like I really cared about them? Or did I have more of a flippant tone? Because again, that's going to put up the barrier and you're potentially going to lose that client or customer. So how do you empower your employees? Really, it does go back to right now, especially with the Great Resignation and a lot of employees leaving their companies, they're saying that they don't really have that empowerment, right? And that goes back to having an opinion about how to do things, right? Being invited to those meetings where you are discussing the feedback and how to improve upon that will really motivate and inspire employees. When employees don't feel like they have a voice, then that's going to probably show up in how they treat their customers, right? If you invest in providing resources, tools, equipment, training with your employees, then that's going to show up with the customers as well. And again, some businesses really don't define what are the standard operating procedures when dealing with customers. What are we allowed to do? How are we empowered to handle these situations? Because really, again, gone are the times of saying, let me go get a manager, unless you really, really need to, right? We should be empowering our employees so that they're handling the situation in the right way. So give them the right authority, right? At a certain level, it may have to escalate to a director or to a manager. But if you can train them well in the things that you are giving them authority to, they can probably retain that customer, and that customer will be loyal. And then what is your customer service vision? At Zappos, anybody familiar with Zappos? They're the shoe company, and they were bought by Amazon, but it was under the jurisdiction that they would still run their company that same way. And their philosophy at Zappos is delivering happiness. That's their vision. So they really empower their customer service, which is really their call center employees, to do whatever they can do to retain that customer. And they really invest in providing their employees resources and tools in order so that the employees are happy, right? So when the employees are happy, then it's easier for them to deliver happiness to the customers. So if you ever are interested in knowing more about Zappos, and they actually do training programs for companies who want to service like they do, I think they're in Henderson, Nevada. But really having a vision for your customer service and really sharing that with the employees so they know what it is, they know what it means, and then how they're going to personally contribute to providing that customer service vision. Anybody a fan of Zappos? They have a great company culture video that you can check out on YouTube. Number 4, developing those repeat relationships. We really do know right now more than ever that it is important to retain our customers because there are so many options, not only where we live, but globally. Customers can order things and purchase things online, services online, the global economy. So the cost of recruiting new customers far exceeds the cost of retaining them. So you want to nourish that existing customer base. And one of my colleagues gave me an example that she recently had experienced with her cell phone company. So the cell phone company was advertising all these discounts to their new customers, right? Because they wanted to get new clientele. And she called one of them and said, gosh, I've been a customer with you for like 15 years. What are you going to provide to me? Right? Because I can easily leave and go to another company, cell phone company, and they actually, took her up on it and gave her the same discounts that they were giving to new clients. And I think I've seen some of those follow suit. So we really always want new clients as well, but we want to take the time to build that loyalty with our customers. And it goes back to that question I asked you, who are you loyal to and why? Why are you loyal? With the Starbucks, it was because, they have an environment when I go there that is friendly. They're happy. They're delivering happiness to me. They know my name, and a name is so important to people. It's our identity, right? So when people learn our name and they learn who we are, there's a connection. So that builds that loyalty. And maybe one of the ones that you were thinking of, maybe they don't even have, it's a restaurant and they don't have the best food, but they're just so great and they provide such a nice environment that you're loyal to them. And you want to help continue to build that small business. Developing rapport is a part of building that loyalty, having the warm greetings, having that personalized service, saying thank you, of course, learning and using customer names, which I was just talking about, telling customers your name, right? And finding something in common. Again, going back to Trader Joe's, couple of my favorites. They're always asking me, how's your day going? What do you have planned for the rest of the day? And they show authenticity, right? They seem genuinely interested in what I'm doing and how my day is going. And that usually ends up in a conversation about food and what I'm having for dinner. And then they can give their recommendations of what's new at Trader Joe's. But really having that rapport, we're losing that because people are going to the internet so much now, and we couldn't go to establishments during the pandemic. So we really want to get that back and hang on to it. And then seeking to exceed customer expectations, being proactive, not reactive. A lot of times people think, well, gosh, we don't have the budget to do this or that. It's not the amount that you do to exceed customer expectations? It can be the littlest things. It's the unexpected. It's something above and beyond that is personalizing the interaction with the customer, and the customer is thinking again, I'm being valued, I'm being acknowledged, I'm being recognized, and this person really went out of their way to help me. Any examples of what you do to exceed customer expectations? I would love to hear them. I think one of the things as a recruiter is when we work with employers, we just really want to provide that professionalism with our candidates and applicants, and we really want to recognize their time with interviews, with email interactions, connections, communications. We really want to give them that 5-star experience, and it just means I'm going to follow up. I'm going to connect with you right away. I'm going to give you a call on an update. If the interview has to be rescheduled, I'm going to let you know right away. So it's personalized, right? And we get to know the job candidates and provide them as much information as we can about the companies that we're working with. So that's one of the ways that we seek to exceed customer expectations. It's just the little things. And then some job candidates will say, gosh, I had the best interview with you. It was just you were just so friendly. And some interviews, I'm so intimidated by people. So it's just bringing that friendliness, that environment that makes them feel comfortable. Yeah, anticipating, when we get really good at our jobs and knowledgeable, we can anticipate what the customer will need and want. So they don't have to ask, right? Because again, time is of the essence for most of our customers. They want to get in and get out, but if it's a service, they want to be treated well, and they want to take all the time in the world that they want. So be like Disney when you are hiring, hire for that attitude, that person who already is positive, right? Not aptitude. We can teach them the skills, but Disney really understands the importance of having the empathy, patience, and positivity. And that's intentionally what they look for when they hire employees at Disney. And then Disney's 7 service guidelines. These are easy too. Again, if you're face-to-face, make eye contact and smile. Greet and welcome each and every guest. Seek out guest contact. Provide immediate service recovery. Display appropriate body language at all times. Preserve that magical guest experience, right? Because they are presenting in different ways and as different characters at Disneyland. So they want to preserve that, and they don't ever want to be off. So when you think about that, if you are, a server in a restaurant or an employee in a hotel, when I used to work for Hyatt Hotels, and I was in human resources, so I wasn't really interacting with the guests on a regular basis. But when I was out, the guests could ask me anything just as easily as they could ask a front desk clerk or someone at concierge, because the customer doesn't know I just work in human resources, right? So you want to preserve that magical guest experience so that you're never off, right? You're always on at Disney. And then thanking each and every guest. Again, these things are so simple, but they work, right? They work for Disney. And with Disney, it's never say no, right? Let me find out. You never want to say no. And then also having that empathy to put yourself in the customer's shoes. So important. And Disney says, do what you do so well that they will want to see it again and bring their friends. So moving forward, how can you be more proactive with customer service? How can you anticipate your customers' needs? What are you thinking moving forward? What are some things that you're trying out or you're thinking of trying out to provide that exceptional customer service? Because it is so competitive right now, whether it's with the hiring, whether it's getting customers, whether it's retaining our current employees so that they can continue to deliver happiness to our customers. What are some of the things that you have heard or observed or are thinking of doing at your own businesses? In the chat, we'd love to hear. Yeah. Great, Mark. Thinking ahead and anticipating what the customer will need or want. Review past activity to forecast needs. And Mark, with yours, do you consistently talk with your employees about what the customer's needs or wants are, or really talk about the feedback that you get and take action on it? Yes, good. Excellent. Anyone else? Yeah, again, just kind of summarizing this, it really is tough out there. And I think customer service is one of the hardest jobs people will ever have. But when you can connect and be positive about our customers' needs and really our creativity, our innovation, it's all coming into play right now. Yeah, I mean, every industry has a customer, right? We all serve a customer. It may look differently. We may respond differently, but without our customers, without providing those services and products we need, we're not in existence. So we have to continue to look for ways that we can anticipate what our customers' needs are going in this transformative workplace that we have. Well, Tara, I'm going to throw it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This was great information. And thanks everybody for all of your participation. We really love that. You know, Keisha, you were talking about when you or somebody you notice needs a break, like they're just getting too overwhelmed. It brought to mind something that Brene Brown said in the restaurant world. And I think that when you're in the restaurant world and you're overwhelmed, you say, I'm in the weeds. And when somebody says you're in the weeds, then everybody kind of collectively comes together and lets you go outside and have a break. And that's that's part of their whole culture. So I think we've all felt like we've been in the weeds, especially maybe this past couple of years. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's important to be able to take that rest, 10 minutes. So excellent. Thank you so much. Okay, so a couple of things. We've got the HRCI and SHRM codes up on the screen right now. So go ahead and grab those. I'm going to put into the chat those codes as well if you want to just capture them that way. Sometimes it's easier, so we'll do it there. I'm also putting in all of the information that Jerry spoke about. So you've got a hotline phone number. Excuse me. That number again for the hotline is 888-217-6899. I have also put Jerry's information in there, his phone number along with his email address, and the Monterey Workforce Development Board's website, which is where you will be able to find a copy of this recording or a recording of this webinar. So you'll be able to find it there as well. I think that we have covered everything. Jerry, it's always a pleasure to work with you and everybody down in Monterey. Hopefully we'll be able to come down and visit sometime soon. Did you have anything else that you wanted to say, Jerry?
No, I want to thank you and look forward for you to come to Monterey County.
Yes, we'll make it a plan. All right, everybody,
Road trip.
And have a great rest of your day. Stay healthy. I was going to say stay cool, but you're already cool. So there you go. Have a good one, everybody. Take care.